Everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday. Today I am totally switching up my topic because I have had a week of pants fitting and jeans construction, and I couldn't get around to thinking about another skirt idea. So I'm going to show you how I'm fitting myself in my non-stretch jeans pattern. Hi Diane. Yesterday, I'm teaching for Stitches at Home this month, and we're doing pants fitting, and they asked me to be the teacher feature, so students who were in the March classes could watch me sew yoga pants in 30 minutes, but really, if you watched the Fit Tip Tuesday this week where I showed how to add a pocket to the yoga pants, you really didn't miss much, because basically I just sewed together yoga pants, and not the Trident yoga pants, but just the regular ones, and I added that cuff. Hi Mary, nice to see you. Alright, so first, I think what I'll do is I'm going to show you, I have on my, let me just lower this so you can see. Okay, so I have my yoga pants on that I made with the pocket, so like, see, here's my pocket. Okay, and I have one on this side as well. Okay, so very excited about these yoga pants. So that's the ones I made on Tuesday. I wore them to my mom's. I showed her my pocket. 2 pockets. Love them. All right, so that's the pockets. Okay, and now, oh, you did get to watch it. I wasn't sure. Are you taking classes for Stitches at Home this month, Diane? I wasn't sure if that was just for students in March, or if anybody who takes classes at Stitches whenever could watch that. I wasn't sure. And I didn't see your response until, I was already teaching, so Jess was crazy. Oh, Mary wants to see the top of my pants. It's just got a yoga band on there. So here's the top. So it just goes around. Okay, and I didn't get a chance to take a picture of me and my skirt, but I know Mary wanted to see that too, so I put it on my dress form, on my ditto form, and actually I want to say that it looks exactly the same on me because we're very similar in shape. So this is how the skirt looks on my ditto form. Now right here, this is annoying, this peaks up right here, this little part. Let me just make it a little bit higher. Hi, Janie. Oh, Mary says nice fit, holds well. Mary, I live in these yoga pants and they stay up really nicely. I just make my waistband a little bit snugger and they stay up really nicely. Okay, so see this little peak right here? Does that because when I went to sew my holes shut, I pushed the fabric up. So that's very annoying to me that I did that, but I'm not going to take it out and fix it because I will never wear my skirt in a way where anyone can see that. So that's really the only thing I'm not happy with on this skirt. The rest of it I love, and really and truly, working on my ditto form actually created seams that hung straight down. So that was kind of cool, and they also hang straight down on me. So basically this skirt fits exactly the same on me. So that's my little report on that. Anyway, that's the skirt. All right, so now I want to get into my non-stretch jeans pattern, and I have not sewn this pattern since 2013, and you know I've expanded And I've also shrunk a little bit, but I mean, I've expanded way past my size that I was in 2013. And even with losing weight over the past year, I haven't gotten back down to where I was. So I knew I needed to make some changes. And I am going to take my watch off because it's annoying. All right, so I'm going to show you, first I'm going to show you my first muslin I made. I'm going to show you how it fit. And actually I was at my mom's when I was sewing, and it was very sweet. I got like 10 pictures of my ankles because my mom couldn't understand how to hold the camera to get my whole back view. But we finally got one, so I'm going to show you. And if you are following me on Instagram, I did post it there. But basically, let me just switch my view here. Okay, I've lost my picture-in-picture, so I apologize for that. But I just want to show you. This is how the muslin fit me right out of the gate. Okay, and it's a little bit snug. But I was pretty happy with it. And then I just want to show you this picture. See all those loose wrinkles? This muslin is really loose because I put a extra inch safety seam allowance on the sides, and then I forgot and I sewed it at a 1/2 inch. And you can see all of that loose fabric is there because I just didn't sew my side seam tight enough. And then when I did sew it a little bit tighter, I got this, okay? And I think when I sewed my next muslin, I actually sewed it at the entire 1.5 inches because I drew the lines. I measured and drew a stitching line on my muslin. And so what I want to do is I want to show you my pattern. I want to show you what I did after that first muslin, and then I want to show you how that fits, and then I want to show you the hole that I made in my center back seam because I busted out of it when I was really stretching it to see if I could really move around. So we're going to get to all this fun today. So first, you may notice I lost my picture-in-picture profile, so when I switched to my table shot, unfortunately you can't see my beautiful face too, so just imagine it's there. All right, let me just switch back over here. The first thing I want to show you is, this is my burgundy denim I got from LaFinchFabrics. And I've been watching them on Instagram. You know, they've been posting this fabric, and I've been watching it, and I've been watching people make stuff out of it. So I decided that I needed to have it too, so I bought some. And the one thing I want to say is when you're working with 100% cotton denim like this, you can't wash it and leave it in your washing machine overnight, because what happens is you end up with, see these very deep faded wrinkle lines? I think that happened because I went to bed after I put it in the wash for the second time, and those wrinkles happened. So it's just going to add to the lovely distressed nature of my finished pair of jeans, but going forward I will never leave cotton denim in the wash. I'm going to take them out the minute they're done, and actually I did wash it a third time today and they did not go away, so these are permanent. Okay, so I just want to show you that. But this denim is, there's no stretch, but I want to say that even non-stretch denim has a an amount of mechanical give. So see how it's not stretching, but I can pull it a little bit. Whereas the muslin I'm using to test fit myself, this muslin has no give. I can't pull this even the tiniest bit. Okay, so I know once I get out of this fabric and get into this fabric, there'll be a little bit more ease or a little bit more give and a little bit more comfortable, even though there's no lycra. All right, so Mary says, I wash my new denim in all hot water. I did wash it in hot water. I think the trick came I think. It was all crumpled up after the spin cycle, and I just let it sit there for 8 hours before, after I went to bed. And I think that's what happened. I don't want to say it's ruined, because I know when my jeans are cut out and sewn together, it's going to be fine. But I just want to point out to you, do not leave your denim wet in the washing machine overnight, because that's what will happen. However, after saying that, I bought a second piece as well. And the second piece I left in the washing machine with this denim, and I didn't have that problem with it. So I'm going to just show you that one. Figure out what I did with it. Here it is. Okay, so this denim was in the same washing machine, and you can see it did not get any creases. And I think the difference is this has a small amount of lycra in it. And when people ask me about, stretch denim, I'll show you. This is what I would consider excellent stretch. Watch how much it stretches. Probably a ½ an inch for every 10 inches. That's what I like for stretch denim. And you can see it came out beautiful, and I didn't get those wrinkle marks in this. And I think it's because there's lycra in it. But anyway, so that's my little denim saga. I'm going to put that away for now. I'm going to bring over my pattern pieces. Okay, so, whoa, that's way too light. Hold on here. Let me just get it a little bit darker now. Here we go. Okay, so this is my pattern. This is my original jeans pattern that I have had. The original tissue. I printed this in 2009, and I made a ton of these jeans for myself. And some of this adjustment here that you see, I cut my pattern across here, and I slid the top part over a little bit, and then I filled it in here. That was on the pattern in 2013. So some of the adjustments you see are things I did previously. I also added about, I don't know, a ½ an inch to my back crotch point. That was there when I started working on it. The only changes I made no changes to the back leg for that first muslin. What I did change, however, was my front. And I basically slashed the pattern and opened it up to create room for my belly, because the biggest thing for me and the biggest change I have had is when I go from, like when I pick out a pair of jeans that I wore back in 2013 and try to put them on, what happens is I can get them on, but I can't zip them up. Like I can't just pull them up that very last amount. So I know I've gotten bigger through my waist and hip. So I added room, and I'm going to give, my Fit Tip Tuesday next week is going to show you how to do this adjustment, and I'll explain all the things this does for you on Tuesday. So I don't want to get into that right now. But what I do want to show you is, after that first muslin, I actually decided I needed more length in my back crotch. So I slashed the pattern from here to here, and I opened it up, and then so that gave me some more room. Whoops. I feel like, there we go, that's better. And then I also evened up my inseams. Now, from the knee to the crotch, the back inseam can be a little bit shorter, and then what happens is you stretch it to fit the front inseam, and it smooths your back leg. But I don't really have that problem with lots of wrinkles on my back leg, so I just decided to even it up. So that's what this adjustment is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the second muslin fit after I added length to my inseam and a little bit more to my crotch. Okay, so let me just zoom in on this so you can see what this is. Okay, so a lot of the wrinkles you see on the back of this leg are magnified because that muslin I'm working with it's almost like a double weight muslin. So it's very heavy, and like I said, it has no give whatsoever. So some of these wrinkles are not going to be an issue when I, go to make my final pair. However, I felt like I needed a little bit more room to sit down, so I scooped, and after I scooped, I got this. And I scooped and I let out the side seams a little bit, but what I think I also need to do here is just let out my inseams. I think my inseam is too tight, and once I do that, and maybe let it out a little bit more on the side seams as well, I think I'm going to be happy with this. So this is how it looked after I scooped. Now what I'm going to do is show you my actual muslin and how I scooped. Alright, so here's my muslin, and the first thing I want to show you here is the scooping job I did. And then I'll talk about how I busted out of them. But really, busting out of them was really the best thing that could have happened, because it tells me where I need fabric, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so let me just make this a little bigger. Oh, Mary says that I'm adding character to my fabric. I agree with you, Mary. I'm not going to stress out about it. Okay, so what I did is, you can see here, okay, ignore the fact that it ripped. I kind of did that on purpose. I'll explain about that in a minute. Okay, so what I did was, you can see, I started a little bit before, wait a minute, let me get this. This is not a good thing. Let me just turn this one side out. I just want to get it so you can really see the shape of it. Okay, so here. Okay, so here's my back crotch. Oh, this is a mess. You can't see this. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so basically, look right here. This is where my yoke starts. I started scooping along the center back to make a little bit of a deeper hole. And actually that stitching went right down. I'll just draw. This is where I busted out of it. Okay. And then I brought it back in right here. This is before the crotch curve. My crotch ends right here where this purple is. Okay, so I basically did not touch the inseam length. I just started scooping at the base of my crotch, probably only about 1/4 of an inch. I just wanted to give myself a slightly bigger hole, and that was better, but it wasn't perfect. And then I also let out my side seams. You can see here, this pen line was my original stitching line, and I let it out from here to here. Okay, but part of what I let out was eaten up by the fact that I stitched in deeper here. Okay, because this is sort of across the way from the side seam. So I almost, I mean, my net gain was not very much, because I sewed in deeper there and I let it out here. Okay, so then what I did was, I'm going to put this in, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to just, I want to really make it so you can see. Part of my issue is I sewed my front crotch right side out, and I sewed my back crotch inside out. That's why I'm having a little bit of an issue here. Wait a minute, let me just put it like this. Okay. All right, this is better. All right, so see, the problem is I can't show you both of my crotch seams because one's inside out and one's right side out. But to give you the shape, okay, that'll show better the shape. Okay, so the second time I stitched, I decided to bring my scooping down about 3/8 from the original stitching along the inseam as well. So I scooped there, and then I also scooped up the front a little bit, which you can't see that because it's on the inside, because this one's inside out and this one's right side out. And that's how I got that last picture. So let me show you now what happened in the back. So I was sitting in it, and I was really like, almost like man spreading. I was spreading my legs really far because I wanted to see. It felt tight on my center back, and look what happened. The stitching started to pull from here all the way to here. So about a ruler. So about a 6-inch section of my back crotch was too tight, but it also ripped this way too. Okay, so the fact that it's ripping across and opening up this way tells me two things. It tells me I need more fabric here, and then here I need more length, because you can see that I actually tore a vertical hole in my muslin. Okay, and this is really what I wanted to show you. And I really just tore this hole 5 minutes before I came on today, so I figured what I would do is I would show you what I think I'm going to do to fix that. So you can see it created like a gap here. Now, directly below here are my inseams. So I think if I let out my inseams through here, that's going to give me the little bit of length I need here. Okay, so here are my inseams, right? So I think what I need to do is add a little bit from here to here, and that's going to give me more fabric from here to here. Like, it's just going to give me a little bit more like that. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of fabric in here, you know, and of course I scooped it out, so I think I have to put it back. So I think scooping here did not help me, okay, because obviously it basically tore to my original seam line, okay. All right, so does anybody have any questions about what I'm trying to show you here? I feel bad that I can't like look at you and so you can see me while I'm showing you what's on my table. Just if you have a question about my hole or how I scoop, please ask. And you know, if you're following along and you're good, let me know that too, just so I know that I'm not completely confusing everybody. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my back pattern out here, and we're going to make some changes to it. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is mark where the hole happened on my actual pattern, so we can work with fixing it where the issue is. So I'm going to switch back to my table shot here, and I'm just going to measure. The hole started to come undone 3.5 inches from the inseam. So if I measure 3.5 inches, this is where it started, and then I said it was a 6-inch hole. So let me find my other ruler here. So I can measure from here up 6 inches like this. I'm just going to make a mark right here. So basically from here to here is where it ripped. And then it also ripped vertically. I mean, okay, so then I'm just going to measure from the start of the tear. Okay, so 2 inches up. Okay, this is where it tore vertically, I mean horizontally, indicating that I didn't have enough fabric, you know, in this direction. So I think what I'm going to do, okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, if I were to pull this straight, like pull this straight like this, on my fabric, this tear looks like it's just right above this. It's the paper doesn't morph like into the shape that the fabric does. So I really think if I add here, it's going to make more room like this, so it won't split here. So I'm going to add a little bit here, and I'm also going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit more fabric along here, but as I add it here, I'm going to extend this. So really I'm going to keep my shape the same. I'm just going to shift it over towards the center back a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to add paper. If I can just find myself some paper. Just get a piece. Okay, I'm just going to get myself a piece of paper here. I'm really excited to cut these out, so I really so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to put paper, I'm just going to put one piece from here to here. I'm just going to tape it on like that. Okay, and then I'm also going to tape another piece here, just so I have the room to show you. Okay. All right, so I don't have any scooping on this pattern yet. I didn't transfer what I scooped. And actually, I don't think the scoop really helped me, so I'm not gonna transfer that scoop. Because basically it tore back down to where my original seam was, so I'm not gonna transfer the scoop. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna add just a little bit. I only probably need like between 1/4 and 3/8. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm just going to add some here, like that. And then I'm basically gonna just follow this along. So see, I'm also adding a little bit of vertical room here, like that. But I want to keep this measurement the same. So this measures, I'm just going to measure it all the way up from, to where it is, where the line is. So 10.5. So I need to extend this out to 10.5. So see, from here to here is 10.5 inches. So I want this new line that I drew to be 10.5, and what's going to end up happening is it's going to push that crotch point out, because like I said, I definitely don't need less, I need more, or, you know, the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top of my ruler at 10.5, and I'm just going to follow it down. And this is going to extend. Okay, if I get that right at 10.5. Okay, that's going to extend to here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm adding, I added here, and I added here, and I added here. So I think these areas are going to give me more vertical, and then here, all of here is going to keep it from tearing open. Okay, so that's how I think I'm going to fix this. Okay, and anytime you change your crotch like that, I'm going to cut this out. Okay, and you can see that I really didn't change the length of this. I just kind of moved it towards the center a little bit to give myself more room in the center of my pants, and I also maintained the measurement by extending it out. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do there. And then what I'm going to do is, you always want to check and see how your crotch looks front to back. So I'm going to bring in my front here, and I just want to put it side to side like this, my inseams together. And if I were to mark my 1/2 inch, which I think that's what this red line is. Yeah, the red line there is a 1/2 inch. So let me make a new 1/2 inch on this side. Okay, so I can then, you know, pin these together at the 1/2 inch. Actually, I'll just fold this one back the 1/2 inch and put it like this. Okay, so that gives me a good idea of, oops, get what my shape is going to be now. So if this is like, if I had sewn these, okay, this is what it would look like. Okay, and you can see now, I think I have plenty of room front to back, and I also don't have, I have a nice smooth shape front to back. You don't want it to be peaked up or anything there, so you can see that this is a nice smooth transition front to back. So I'm happy with the way that looks. And you can see here, I think I added the room I'm going to need to not bust out of these jeans. Okay, so see, so it was just that subtle little bit that I'm adding, and I really think that that will allow room for me to not have this happen, okay, where it came apart this way, but then also tore this way. All right, so that's how I'm going to fix that. Now, the next thing is, let me see, okay. Okay, so the next thing is, when I sit in these, now I don't have a waistband on my muslin yet. However, I can tell by where it's sitting on me, it's still a little bit too low. So I am also going to raise my rise a little bit more. So I want to make sure that when I sit, my jeans are like keeping my belly inside. I didn't have this problem before in 2013 where I had to worry about my belly popping out of my jeans, which I have that problem now. So I'm going to raise the rise of these jeans too, and that's actually a very easy thing to do. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to switch back to my other view, and let me make it a little wider so you can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, you can see normally in the front I would cut my pattern across through my zipper to lengthen it, but I've already added fabric to the top, and then I redrew my front pocket you know, kind of picking that up so it's, you know, it's still the same shape. I mean, that's the danger of adding to the top of the front. You then have to play with the shape of your front pocket. I do not want to play with that anymore, so I am going to slash down here and add. Okay, so I'm going to do that. But before I add anything, another issue I had was that I did not make sure from my knee notch to my waist was the same measurement front to back. So that's the first thing I'm going to check here is how different they are, because my back is a little bit longer than my front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my back and I'm going to pin it at my side seam, at my knee notch, and then we're going to figure out exactly how much my back leg is too long or longer than my front. Because you can see right now, they are exactly even. Okay, so what is the problem with that? If they're exactly even now, that means that the added length to, when I add the back yoke on, the front's going to be too short. And when I was sewing together my muslin, I made it fit, but obviously I want my side seam to match without making it fit. And I know from working with this pattern that my yoke adds a ½ inch of extra length to my side seam. So that means I'm going to have to add a ½ inch to my front just to make it match my back. All right, and then I think I'm also going to add another ½ inch. So I'm going to add a total of 1 inch to the front and another ½ inch to the back, because now they're even, you know, in terms of, you know, like they match, okay, from here to here, but when you add the yoke on, the front is a ½ inch too short. So I'm going to add a whole inch to the front to give myself an extra ½ inch, and then I have to go back and add another ½ inch to the back too to make them match. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me go back over here. You can see that sometimes your pattern paper is whatever you have handy. I was working on this at my parents', so I used their Harper Current paper as my pattern paper. So that's why this is getting to look very interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to, might as well start in the back. Okay, here's my back yoke. This is what my back yoke looks like. Okay, and I want to add another ½ inch here. So I think I'm just gonna work with these little scraps for now. Let me just tape that paper on like this. Now in the back I only need a ½ inch. Because I will be putting on a waistband, which will also make it higher. Okay. Okay, so I am just going to measure right along the top edge here, that ½ inch. So my waist is stopping right here at this purple line right now, so I'm just going to measure up from that to get that ½ inch. Okay. Alright, so there's my ½ inch. And then, of course, anytime you change the top edge of your back leg, you just want to double check and make sure your yoke still fits. So let me just cut all this off. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, the tape, this is ripping here. Alright, let me just try my yoke. So I'm going to just start my yoke. I'll just use this to make. I'm just going to walk my yoke across and make sure it matches. Okay, so my yoke is a ½ inch shorter than the top of my back leg, And based how this is fitting me, I think I'm going to add a little bit to that back yoke, because obviously everything was just a little bit snug. So to fix that, I am literally just going to extend my back yoke 3/8 of an inch. So originally it was right here, and I'm just going to extend it 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so now my yoke will not be, I won't have to stretch my yoke on so hard. It's still 1/8 of an inch shorter, but I'm adding that on. Okay, so that takes care of my back. All right, I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so I've added the 1/2 inch to the top of my back leg, and I fixed my yoke. I'm just going to pin those together so they don't get lost. And then in the front, I am going to show you how I would raise my rise without playing with the shape of the pocket. I'm literally going to just draw a line. I'll make it blue. It's getting very colorful here. Through the zipper. Anytime you raise your rise in the front, you want to make sure you're raising it through the zipper seam allowance, so you're also lengthening your zipper seam allowance. Because if you raise it lower, what could happen is you have to remember to, if you lengthen it down here, your zipper seam allowance might be too short and it might end too high on your body and look funny. So I'm going to go right through my, my leg. And remember, I have to add 1 inch here because I have to add 1 inch. So let me just get some paper so I can do that. All right, so I'm just going to cut this one in half here. All right, so I'm going to tape my paper right onto the edge here, making sure I have at least 1 inch of paper to extend it. Okay, so I'm just going to tape this on. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to measure my inch. And that's going to put me right here. Okay, so let me just stick another little piece of paper over here. This is becoming a Frankenstein pattern. I'll make a neat copy of it after I have it the way I want it, but basically, let's just get this to be where I want it to be. I'm going to continue my center front edge like that, and then I'm just going to retape this on here. So now my seams, I think my side seams are going to match. We're going to check it though to be sure. And then I'm going to be ready to cut out my denim. I mean, I think I'm going to make one more test muslin just to be sure, because I do not want to screw this up. I mean, I don't want to mess up my nice burgundy fabric. All right, so that trues that up, that trues that up. Let me just cut this off. And then just because I have all these different layers here, I'm just going to tape it down in the back too. I don't want anything to fall apart here. Okay. All right, so there is my completed front. Now I do want to recheck it because I don't want anything to be not agreeing when I sew this together again. So let me just line up my knee notch. So what should happen here is my front should be a half an inch longer than my back because the yoke is not on. So let me just match these up. Okay, so you can see, happy day, my front is a half an inch longer than my back. So now I know when I sew my yoke on, those are going to match. All right, so now, let me just also, see I have this over here. Let me just take this down. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so what did I do? Let's just review very quickly. I added about 1/4 of an inch along my inseam here. And I also added, I just added fabric all in here. I kept my total crotch length the same, but I've added fabric and I've added fabric to prevent it from ripping or splitting. Okay, I trued up my side seams and I added to the front and back rise. Okay, so those are the two things that I did. I'm going to give this one more test before I cut out my burgundy fabric. But I am super excited because I am teaching this. I'm teaching jean construction on Wednesday nights for Master the Art of Sewing. So I can get this all prepped and I can sew my front pockets, and then when I go to show how to do the front fly on Wednesday, I can do it right on my jeans, and then I'll be doing two things at once. I'll be sewing new jeans for myself and I'll be teaching how to do the zipper, so I'm kind of excited about that. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I do want to tell everybody, tomorrow is my birthday, and I'm 53 years old. So to celebrate, I'm having a sale on all of my patterns. All of my patterns will be 53% off, only from now until the end of Saturday, my birthday. So if you've been eyeballing a pattern, now's your chance to get it at a little bit more than half off. I will tell you, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing some fun things with the raglan sleeve top pattern. I'm going to show how to make a sleeveless version of that, and some other things with the raglan sleeve for summer. I'm also going to be probably doing some fun things with my skirt pattern, because that's my favorite thing to wear in the summer. And I may even, I'm just trying to think, well, I know for sure coming up those are going to be two things I'm going to be working on. So if you want to sew along with me and you don't have the raglan sleeve or the skirt pattern, consider those, because those are really my favorite summer patterns, as well as I love my gym tank too, because it stays put and it doesn't show my cleavage. So anyway, that's my little report. So my newsletter launched. So the sale information is in the newsletter, and also where I'm teaching in April is in the newsletter. And I'm kind of excited. I'm teaching my first class for Fabric Mart Fabrics in April, and it's going to be stretch jeans fitting, which is going to be a fun class. And I'm keeping the same format that I love, where the class will be over 2 weekends, so everybody can have a private fitting with me in the week in between the classes. So I'm really looking forward to that. And you know, and then I have I'm teaching for stitches. If you guys tried to get into the Sew Expo yoga pants class and you got waitlisted and you didn't get in, I am teaching the Easy Fit and Sew yoga pants class for stitches in April. And the format for that is actually nicer because it's 2 2-hour classes. So on Saturday we will pick your size, you know, decide any changes, and then cut it out, and then we'll have a whole class on Sunday to sew it together. So I think that having a break in between, you know, the picking the size, adjusting, cutting, and then sewing will make it a lot more fun, you know, so you have some time if you get behind to to finish cutting or whatnot. But anyway, so I'm excited about that. And I'm also teaching my Break Your Serger Out of the Box class, which is always fun. So those are the things I'm going to be teaching. All right, so Margie Joseph says, how do I take the pants class? If you're talking about, okay, the yoga pants class is, I will put the link to it below, or if you go to my website and check out the newsletter, and also sign up for my newsletter, because that's when I advertise my teaching schedule for the next month and so on and so forth. And if you're worried about getting bombarded with newsletters, I only get about, I would say, 8 or 9 newsletters out a year, because I'm so busy that I can't even get one out every month. The last one I sent was in January. So all the information is in the newsletter for the sale and for the classes. But I will put links to the classes below this video when I get off. So you can check that, or you can go to my website and look at my newsletter. And that's my report. So I'm so happy you guys joined me. I'm super excited. I haven't made a pair of non-stretch jeans for myself in such a long time. I'm super excited to do that. So I'm going to get off. I'm going to do a pants fitting with one of my students that's in my pants fitting class this month, and then I'm going to work on my jeans for the rest of the day. That's going to be my plan. So I hope you enjoyed this, and you know, if you have questions or comments, please post them. I'll help you. I'm sorry it was hard to see my muslin. I should have re-sewed it so the inseams were, or the front and back crotch were going in the same direction. That would have made it a lot easier. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. First day of spring tomorrow. I'm hoping things are getting warmer for everybody. I hope everybody's staying safe, and I will see you for a Fit Tip Tuesday. And also on Sunday, I will have another episode of the Bernina L460 Serger Manual. I don't know what the topic is going to be yet, but I will be doing something for that as well. So I will see you again soon. Oh, let's see, wait. Mary says, you have to remember when wearing non-stretch, the feeling is totally different than when you're used to yoga pants. Mary, that's a very good point, because I think that's how I ended up gaining those 15 pounds that I now lost, because you can just expand and they're comfortable. So I think having some non-stretch jeans in my closet is going to be good for my waistline, because it will keep me in check. But I will tell you, when non-stretch jeans fit right, they are just as comfortable as stretch jeans, because getting the fit is how you get the comfort. And the muslin that I had on that I busted through was already pretty comfortable. Even in that nasty muslin, it was just too tight in that one area, like when I spread my legs and really tried to make it crack. So I'm going to be excited to live in some non-stretch jeans, because I'm hoping that will help me be a little bit less of a piggy. Oh, hi, Kay. Oh, Mary says she only wears jeans. I know. You've told me that. Yeah. Well, Mary, if you want help working on your pattern, I am still up for helping you. So please keep me posted on that. And Kay, hi Kay. I'm glad you joined, but now I'm signing off. So you just made it, and now I'm leaving. But I hope you guys have a really wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again really, really soon. Okie doke. Bye.